Hello everyone, welcome to the Lightning Ball channel. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so and activate the notification bell. Your support fuels my continued efforts. In our last episode, we discussed how Rimuru, after meeting with Yuki's messenger Laplace, decided to head to the Eastern Empire for a face-to-face meeting with Yuki, accompanied by Diablo, Testarossa, Xian, and Benimaru. On the other hand, Misha, who was preparing for the meeting between Rimuru and Yuki, fell victim to Damrada's betrayal and was killed by Tatsuya Kondou. In this episode, we will delve into Benimaru's perfect evolution, Yuki's quick thinking and his rescue of Damrada, as well as Emperor Rudra's appearance. Let's get started. Shortly after Laplace's departure, everyone concerned about Rimuru began to discuss detailed plans for the upcoming operation. Soyai proposed using his shadow clone to infiltrate the Empire, and then shadow travel to meet up with Rimuru and the others. The duty of guarding Masayuki, which was originally Soyai's, was delegated to Diablo's subordinate, Venom. Cautious by nature, Soyai felt that sending only 5 people into the heart of enemy territory was extremely dangerous. It's worth mentioning that although Soyai did not qualify for awakening, the blessing he received due to Benimaru's evolution allowed him to successfully transform into a dark attribute divine Oni, complementing Benimaru. Although Soyai's overall abilities were a step behind Benimaru's, he possessed a greater magical capacity than the semi-awakened Clayman, making Soyai an impeccable choice for covert operations. The second strategy devised during the discussion concerned the deployment of military forces. In a world where quality far outweighs quantity, even an army of tens of thousands is insignificant against a single powerful individual who can use widespread magic attacks with ease. Therefore, only a small but formidable part of the army would be mobilized, including Gabara's Hiryu, Benimaru's Kurenai, Xian's Yamigiri, the 2 primordial demons Ultima and Carrera serving as military officers, and the elemental colossus controlled by Gadra. These are the personnel committed to this battle. After the meeting concluded, it was time for dinner. Having finished a day's hard work, Rimuru and Benimaru prepared to spend a relaxed and enjoyable evening in the dining hall. According to the schedule, Rimuru's role for the next day was simply to boost the morale of the troops heading into battle and then to meet with Yuki for talks. With plenty of time at hand, there wasn't any particular pressure. Benimaru couldn't help but ask Rimuru if being so relaxed was really appropriate. Rimuru reassured him that there was no issue. He then turned the conversation to Benimaru, suggesting that he should spend time with his 2 new wives. Just then, Diablo and Xian arrived, delivering food that, to everyone's relief, wasn't prepared by Xian, ensuring a safe dining experience. However, Rimuru was curious about Benimaru, who had just evolved into a spiritual life form and theoretically no longer needed to eat. Surprisingly, Benimaru, much like Rimuru, eagerly grabbed a tonkatsu and started eating with gusto. It seemed that Benimaru didn't quite grasp Rimuru's point, remarking that though it wasn't necessary, the ability to taste, much like Rimuru, was a delightful sensation. Rimuru nostalgically recalled the days when he lacked desires, thinking life had come to a bland end. Fortunately, through his efforts, he had regained his sense of taste and desire for sleep, which brought him daily joy. Benimaru agreed, expressing his happiness at being able to enjoy life as before. Rimuru and Benimaru nodded in mutual agreement, but suddenly, Rimuru sensed something unusual. Even though Benimaru had evolved, it seemed that all his desires remained intact. Rimuru was speechless, recalling the considerable effort he had put into mastering certain desires. Benimaru explained that he could enter a state of meditation to sleep and recover from fatigue. However, what intrigued Rimuru even more was another aspect, to which Benimaru responded with a nod and a shy expression. Rimuru felt a tinge of jealousy. He probed further about Benimaru's decision to delay his evolution due to his inability to have children as spirit life form. But now that Momiji and Albiz were pregnant, and he had chosen to evolve, shouldn't desires like sexual urges have vanished? Benimaru shared that initially, he thought the same, but oddly enough, even though he could no longer father children, his sexual desire remained, which was a relief as it meant his wives wouldn't be saddened. Rimuru was at a loss for words, wondering why Benimaru's evolution was so perfect, even possessing skills Rimuru himself didn't have. He felt a mix of envy and jealousy. Though he maintained a cordial expression, he subconsciously snatched Benimaru's food. As Benimaru tried to reclaim his meal, Rimuru, overwhelmed with jealousy, rebuked him, calling him a traitor and telling him to shut up. Thus, they spent their time in a mix of enjoyment and casual banter. However, while Rimuru was in this tranquil period, his ally Yuki was already facing a purge by the Empire. Rewinding time slightly, at the Empire's base, Yuki and his subordinates, nearly 30 individuals each capable of rivaling the Imperial Guardians in might and absolute loyalty, gathered for the final preparations of the impending coup. With the other two major military divisions of the Eastern Empire already annihilated, all preliminary conditions were met. The plan was to use the Composite Division to suppress the Imperial capital, and then join forces with Rimuru and his team to eliminate the Emperor and his closest aides, securing a successful revolution. At this stage, victory seemed within grasp. However, Yuki couldn't shake off a nagging sense of unease, as if something crucial was overlooked. The atmosphere grew tense with Damrada's long-awaited arrival. Soon, Yuki sensed something amiss and inquired about Misha's condition. Damrada's response was chillingly brief: Misha was dead. The atmosphere in the room instantly grew charged, bristling with a pre-battle tension palpable to all present. Damrada revealed that Misha had been killed by Tatsuya Kondou not long ago. At this revelation, Yuki's unease dissipated, replaced by a clarity of thought. He and Damrada hadn't worked together for long, but they had shared many unspeakable deeds, including the destruction of the Empire's underworld organization Echidna and the establishment of Cerberus. Damrada had always been proactive, but Yuki now realized that perhaps all these actions were in line with the Emperor Rudra's designs. The formation of Cerberus might have been a strategy to recruit talented individuals into the Empire's fold, with Yuki merely a figurehead. Despite this, Damrada's loyalty was beyond question. Yuki previously speculated that the Empire possessed individuals capable of mind control. Given Yuki's naturally suspicious nature, Damrada's brainwashing was likely a ploy to earn Yuki's trust. In essence, even Damrada was unaware of his own betrayal, manipulated by a hidden puppeteer. In an attempt to confirm his suspicions, Yuki confronted Damrada, asking when he began deceiving him. Damrada's response was cold and mechanical, professing ignorance about Yuki's accusation. This unself-conscious tone affirmed Yuki's conclusion: Damrada was indeed being controlled. Following this line of thought, it became apparent that the puppeteer behind Damrada had likely surrounded their location during their conversation. While Yuki was still contemplating this, the others in the room had already encircled Damrada, bombarding him with accusations of betrayal. Damrada continued to respond mechanically, asserting his unwavering loyalty to the Emperor. This loyalty to the Emperor unequivocally meant betrayal of Yuki's revolutionary plans, inciting fury among those present. Torniat, a young man assigned by Yuki as Damrada's bodyguard, was the first to react. Driven by his indignation, he attempted to confront Damrada physically. However, his courageous charge and punch were effortlessly blocked by Damrada, who grabbed Torniat's wrist and stopped the attack. With a gentle but firm push of his palm against Torniat's chest, Damrada unleashed a heavy impact infused with fighting spirit that penetrated Torniat's internals, causing him to collapse under the unbearable strain. Shocked by Damrada's immense strength, Torniat could hardly believe the power he witnessed. Damrada, maintaining his composure, reminded Torniat of a past warning not to underestimate others. He explained that even without employing any magical skills, just through physical training alone, he had attained such formidable strength. Damrada, speaking his mind, abruptly executed a spinning kick behind him, striking a figure who had been lurking in the shadows, aiming for a stealth attack. The assailant, Arios, not only a subordinate of Yuki but also ranked 44th among the Imperial Guardians, was instantly killed, his skull fractured. Arios had been employing his unique skill murderer, particularly its presence concealment and silent movement abilities, for the ambush. Damrada, however, scorned such reliance on unique skills alone, emphasizing the importance of physical and mental prowess in critical moments. His words sent a ripple of shock through those present, as they directed their hostility towards him. Amidst this escalating tension, Yuki remained composed, analyzing the situation. He concluded that although Damrada was being controlled, he still retained his own consciousness. The fact that Damrada refrained from killing Torniat, who was undeniably loyal to Yuki, but eliminated Arios, possibly another of Emperor Rudra's agents, was telling. Using this deduction, Yuki issued orders for an immediate retreat, leaving the coordination to his deputy Kigali and instructing everyone to regroup with the composite division. Upon hearing Yuki's command, the atmosphere shifted as everyone turned to Kigali for guidance. Sharing Yuki's sense of impending doom, Kigali wasted no time in organizing the withdrawal. The subordinates quickly exchanged farewells with Yuki before vanishing into the night, leaving only Yuki and Damrada at the scene. Damrada pointed out the futility of fleeing for Yuki now, criticizing Yuki for his habitual underestimation of crucial situations and particularly capabilities of the Imperial Intelligence Bureau. Yuki, with a hint of a smile, acknowledged that while the situation was dire, there might still be a glimmer of hope if he struggled hard enough. His objective for staying back was clear: to free Damrada from the control of an unknown manipulator. Yuki possessed a special anti-skill constitution, enabling him to nullify magical and magical skill-induced effects. Thus, if he could locate the core of the control exerting influence over Damrada, he could potentially break it. Damrada, sensing Yuki's intention, felt a profound sense of satisfaction. To him, Yuki was indeed an exceptional boss, and he praised Yuki for his perceptiveness. This faith in Yuki stemmed from the latter's ability to discern the truth, even under circumstances where everyone else believed Damrada had betrayed them. However, bound by the control he was under, Damrada prepared for combat, confronting Yuki with the formidable prowess of an Imperial Guardian's vice-captain, ranked second in hierarchy. He ruefully noted that if Yuki managed to kill him, it would spell the end of everything, including his inability to witness the fulfillment of his pact with Emperor Rudra. Yuki, brimming with confidence, declared his resolve to save Damrada. The duel commenced, with Yuki effortlessly deflecting a direct blow aimed at his face by Damrada, followed by a skillful wrist-twisting counter. Unfazed, Damrada countered with a hand chop, compelling Yuki to dodge backward, where Yuki swiftly responded with a double kick. Damrada ducked and attempted a sweeping leg kick. Their battle was intense and evenly matched, but the physical confrontation was merely superficial. In reality, through their brief physical contacts, Yuki used telepathy to communicate with Damrada, who, without disobeying his orders, aided Yuki as much as possible. After several attempts, Yuki finally gathered all the necessary information. As he had suspected, Damrada was loyal to both Emperor Rudra and Yuki, betraying neither. The controlling mechanism, akin to a bullet, was embedded within Damrada's body. After confirming his plan with Damrada telepathically, Yuki concentrated his power and struck Damrada's chest with his palm, shattering the controlling bullet through the effect of his anti-skill. With this, Damrada regained his freedom, his face lighting up with relief and joy. Yuki announced his intention to regroup with Kigali and the others and inquired about Damrada's plans. Damrada, recognizing the increased danger of returning to Tatsuya Kondou, decided to accompany Yuki. As they prepared to leave, a sudden voice halted their steps.
"Why are you dawdling here, Damrada? Or have you truly betrayed Rudra-sama?"
At the doorway stood a woman of stunning beauty with azure hair, exuding an overwhelming presence. Damrada, under his breath, muttered Velgrind-sama, a name that thundered in Yuki's ears. She was one of the mightiest true dragons in the world, and the realization shook Yuki. He instinctively compared his strength to hers and was gripped by panic. Unlike his encounter with Veldora, facing such an adversary seemed akin to suicide, and Yuki quickly grasped this truth. Yet Yuki did not surrender. If a direct confrontation was impossible, he would resort to subtler means. Velgrind, in turn, commended Yuki for maintaining his composure despite being human, an uncommon and intriguing sight. Yuki calmly accepted Velgrind's compliment, half-jokingly stating that it would be even better if she could let him go. However, Velbrind clarified that it wasn't she who was seeking Yuki, but her lover instead. As she stepped back, Yuki finally noticed the man standing behind her. The sight of the man threw Yuki into complete disarray. Dressed in garments that screamed wealth and status, the man bore an uncanny resemblance to Masayuki. However, Yuki quickly regained his composure. Despite their similar appearances, this man exuded a royal aura entirely different from Masayuki's carefree and dispirited demeanor. He was none other than the Emperor of the Eastern Empire, Rudra. Simultaneously, Damrada kneeled down in submission. Yuki, with a hint of sarcasm, expressed his surprise at seeing the Emperor in such a place. Rudra, with a relaxed demeanor, mentioned that he was quite busy, with the final battle against Gi nearing its conclusion. He then extended an olive branch to Yuki, inviting him to become a true subordinate, promising not to strip Yuki of his free will. Rudra's words were imbued with the authority of a sovereign ruler. Even with his anti-skill ability, Yuki felt an almost irresistible urge to kneel, as if being dominated. Fighting against this compulsion, Yuki's indignation helped him regain his dignity. He glared angrily at Rudra, accusing the Emperor of resorting to underhanded tactics right from the start. Rudra, however, looked at Yuki with a face of confusion, seemingly unaware of the effect he had on him. Yuki, maintaining his composure, expressed to Rudra that no need to be that astonishing for failing to control him. Rudra, still looking puzzled, turned to Velbrind for an explanation. Velbrind, with a smile, gently chided Rudra to be more considerate, noting that Yuki, under Rudra's overwhelming aura, mistakenly thought he was under a mental attack. Rudra responded, mentioning he had already been restraining himself. Velbrind added that very few in the world could communicate on equal terms with Rudra, implying that it wasn't Rudra's fault. Rudra appeared utterly bewildered, while Velbrind continued to smile cheerfully. Meanwhile, Yuki, having heard their conversation, was shaking with rage. Thus, while Rimuru was still leisurely enjoying his dinner, Yuki found himself in a standoff with Emperor Rudra. Elsewhere, Tatsuya Kondou was not about to let Kigali and the others escape easily. The clock was ticking for Rimuru to become aware of these developments. Alright, that's all for this video. In the next episode, we will witness a tense series of events. The composite division would be annihilated by Velbrind, and Yuki's faction, including Yuki and Kigali, would fell under control. The next episode is a pivotal moment in the series, marking a significant challenge for Rimuru, who has thus far had a relatively smooth journey. The upcoming episode promises to be exceptionally thrilling. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Your support is greatly appreciated. See you in the next one.